And you know when you're dying. And it was though I was drowning because my lungs were collapsing. And I kept raising my head to try to breathe. And then in that last instant, someone who had never prayed since I was a child, I called out 3 words that made all the difference. From somewhere inside of me, Joni, that I didn't even know still existed.
Wow.
I became instantly aware of all the time I had wasted and all the help that I could have been to people and all the kindness I should have shown. And instead, I was completely absorbed in my own wealth and arrogance. And I cried out, God, forgive me.
Those
God,
3 words.
Forgive me. And I remember my hand was shaking as I tried to reach out to God. And I fell forward and collapsed on the steering wheel. Yeah.
So
I can't tell you exactly how long I was over the steering wheel, but I remember waking up. And the first thing I noticed was that I had no pain. Wow. Suddenly I began to rise, and I'm floating upwards, and I'm looking down at the truck. I could see my body through the rear window of the truck, and and I'm very aware of the altitude as a pilot, and I get up there and I tilt my head back. This beautiful golden circle appears in the sky like a gigantic wedding ring, 60 feet in diameter. The center fills with gold, and then the gold swings back. And then, as though I had hit all the thrusters on the jets on the aircraft that I used to fly, I went at tremendous speed into that tunnel of light. On the right, there's this beautiful field with flowers and mist and a beautiful blue sky, but curiously enough, no sun. And as a pilot, that's the first thing I look for to orient myself. Am I northwest? Am I southeast? And I'm looking for the sun. But as my gaze traversed to the left, that beautiful green grass went from green to scorched to brown to scorched to black and dropped off in a crevasse. I've always been an inquisitive person. I couldn't get over the dichotomy between the 2 vistas. And so I walked over very carefully and looked down this pit. And the walls were like black anthracite coal and slippery. And as I look, there's a dim flicker of a red light, not unlike a campfire you would see in the distance on a summer night. But it started to grow larger. And then I heard something really strange, the sound of 2 large doors creaking open on hinges that had not been oiled for a long time. And along with that came, the flame grew. So looking down, the doors were sideways and the flame grew greater. And then I saw something, to my shock, amble out from this, and it was massive. It was a creature that Hollywood couldn't replicate. The most disgusting looking creature, large, with a body of fire and smoke. Yet it had features not unlike a hyena.
Oh, wow.
And it was clearly sniffing and searching for something. But then suddenly I saw it pause, and then it gazed back up toward me. The look of hatred in the eyes, Joni, of that creature for anything, for me and for mankind, was palpable. And that, combined with the stench of death and decay that came out of that pit, it was the smell of despair. The smell of despair. And then what really galvanized me was it started to climb up the walls toward me. And for a large creature, it was fairly nimble and quick.
How large was it? About?
Well, it was 60 feet, I guess,
It's
because
huge.
when it got up over the pit, it stood in front of me.
Oh,
and faced like a hyena, snarling. I mean, you know, the old-time pastors weren't wrong.
Right.
We laugh at them now because, oh, well, how bad can it be? Let me tell you something, folks. You don't want to see what I saw.
Yeah.
You don't. And Hollywood couldn't replicate it. And slobbering, it was drooling. I could hear the sound of its drool slapping the ground. But the worst thing was I heard my name being called.
How terrifying.
My name, Lord, my name. This creature knew me.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to rationalize. I wasn't that bad a guy. I didn't think I was.
Yeah.
I didn't kill anyone. I didn't rob anyone. I didn't hurt anyone. But I wasn't as kind unless I got a tax receipt. And so and then along with that, the name of my name being called, Jim, we are here for you. This is your time with us. And then the strangest thing happened. I heard screaming, but here's the sick part. The screaming was coming from within the body of this creature. It was as though it had consumed souls, and they were screaming for release.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, this is what hell is.
Yeah.
This is not some fairy tale.
Yeah.
And it came up out of the pit, and I staggered backwards, and I turned my back to it to keep my sanity. And I felt a claw right down my back. All the while, it's calling my name and trying. And I really feel that if I had turned around, that would have been acceptance. And I would have been snatched. But instead, remember the 3 words I cried out the trap?
God forgive me.
God forgive me. The next 3 were magical. I turned toward that beautiful vista to my right, and I lifted both my hands, and I cried out, God, help me. Help me. I, who ignored him, expected nothing. Wow. And he gave me everything.
That's so good.
And suddenly 3 points of light appear in the sky. They come rushing toward me, and they form, and I realize they're angels. The light came over me and went behind me, and I turned in time to see that light strike the demon. And when it did, it shrieked and screamed and scrambled back down in that pit. Darkness and evil cannot exist in the light of God. And you here at Daystar are the light of God.
Amen.
Amen.
You fight the fight that no one realizes, keeping evil at bay. God bless you. Sorry, I got a little preachy there.
I like that. Oh, so good.
I love that because Daystar we got from 2 Peter 1:19, a light that shines in the darkness.
Yep.
Wow.
I came from different points, you know, as a pilot. I was trying to figure out what points of the compass are they coming from. And they all joined into one and came and made a beautiful landing. I was really impressed with the landing because they were coming in hot.